Bill, how we doing on time? Ready to go?
Yep.
Okay. It does have an echo. I think we turned the volume up.
Really?
All right. Okay, well, Mr. Stan, would you like to lead us in prayer and pledge today?
Why, sure. Would you mind if I sat down?
Oh, you're fine, you're fine.
If everybody else can raise if they can. Great Architect of the universe, we thank you for the many blessings you bestowed upon us. We thank you for the leadership and guidance that you give the administration and the staff, and we ask that you continue to lead our lives in the way you want us to be. We ask you to be with any of our residents or staff that are currently having family problems with death or sickness. Please be with them and give them extra help. We thank you for the first responders in the military that make our lives so safe. Again, thank you for the blessings you bestowed upon us and lead us in the future. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And I'm not sitting because of making a statement.
That's good.
I boycotted the NFL.
I know. All right. Well, it was kind of a crappy day out there today, wasn't it? Yesterday was beautiful, and then today we started out with a torrential downpour. But, oh well. Welcome to Ohio. Okay, so we got a few things to talk about. I guess I'll start with project updates. I don't have many other than we are working with the engineers and the architect to kind of get some of the things finalized for like the grounds and transportation pole barn that's going to be built, then demolishing the ugly one behind us, and then the elevator in Scottish Rite. The engineers were on site 2 days ago, I believe, and I think we have to do some core sampling, and then there's been some people out here actually doing utility locations. So you can call OOPS, and OOPS comes out and they give you a range of somewhere between, you know, the lamppost and the building, there's a line. We need it to be a lot more accurate for what we're doing, so we're having some GPR come out, so some ground penetrating radar, actually locate lines, and then we can accurately move forward with that one. And then the parking lot designs and all that are still being finalized, still trying to figure out if it's going to be covered parking, garages, or a mixture of both, and then how many spots we're able to fill in there, which a lot of that comes from the engineering work. So the civil engineers have to come in and look at where everything's going to go and fall. So that's where we're heading there. Iredell, still no updates. I think I told you guys last month I can't knock it down until I build something over top of it, because if we knock it down, I got to spend hundreds of thousands to build a shelter to house the utilities just to knock it down when we build something new. So we're just going to leave Iredell kind of alone as it sits right now till we move that forward. So that's kind of the projects update. Operationally, things are going good. Nothing really big to announce that way. Other than if you have not heard through the grapevine, I know we haven't had a coffee connection or anything to make a formal announcement, but a few weeks ago, on a Monday, we received a phone call and we were told, hey, we're going to shut down the Dayton branch of Ohio Living. On Tuesday, they made the announcement, hey, we're shutting down the Dayton branch of Ohio Living, and oh, by the way, in 6 days from now, we're no longer taking new admissions. So we've been partnered with Ohio Living Home Health for better part of 6 years, if not maybe a little more. So that did not sit very well, that we got a little bit blindsided and a little bit shorthanded on notification. So that was not an easy thing to take. Then we immediately started to have some meetings and we started vetting out a new preferred partner. So Dave and I met with a couple different vendors, a few different vendors, immediately nixed some of them out of there because they either weren't large enough to bring the support that was needed, or they could cover one aspect but not another aspect, and different things like that. So one of the partners that we already work with is Fidelity. So Fidelity is the company that runs the clinic here on campus, And Fidelity also is a home health provider. They also have pharmacy and DME, but I'm going to let them talk about all the things that they do. And after a few different meetings with the corporate team and their corporate team and operations here, Fidelity is who we landed on as being our preferred provider for home health here on the campus. So a lot like what Ohio Living did, but they're actually going to bring a lot more services to the campus, and they have a lot more depth of service in the home health arena than Ohio Living had. So they're actually going to be a much stronger partner with us than Ohio Living was. And today we do have some reps here from Fidelity, so we're going to give them some time to come up and talk. I think they're drawing straws right now.
We know who's winning.
So I'm going to turn it over to Sandy. And Sandy, I'm sorry, I don't know your title, so I'm going to leave that up to you.
Thank you. Hi everyone, I'm Sandy Haig and I'm Senior Director of Operations for Fidelity. And I have with me
Melanie Bailey, Director of Home Health.
And Derek Spidler, Customer Service Coordinator.
So we are very happy to be here. We're very happy to have this opportunity to partner with you guys. As Tony said, we do currently run the clinic that some of you have utilized, and so we're excited to expand our partnership. We offer home health services, medical equipment, home infusion. We have private duty services, so if you need some help at home and you don't qualify for skilled care, we can help you with that. I'm going to let Mel talk to you a little bit about our specialized clinical teams because that sets us apart from a lot of the other home health agencies.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
So, Fidelity Healthcare, we are the largest home care agency in the area. We employ about 150 nurses, that's RN and LPNs, about 100 therapists, that's PTs, OTs, assistants, speech therapy, and then our home care aides. So we're able to provide pretty much anything that you might need. In those teams, in those nursing teams, we have a certified wound team of 10 nurses that are specialized in treating wounds. So we come out, we look at your wound, we call the doctor, and we get you on a different treatment that's going to get you healed a whole lot quicker. We also have an infusion team, so they come out and they do all of your IV needs at home. So we can do antibiotics, we can do some hydration, pretty much anything that you need. We can do IV push drugs, anything that's going to keep you out of the hospital or keep you from running to the hospital every day. We want to be able to provide that in your home. We have a respiratory therapy team, which no one else in the area has. So if you're new to oxygen or, Lord forbid, you have to have trach care or something like that, we can send our respiratory therapist out to give you education. And again, sets us apart from everyone else because no one else does that. Insurance doesn't pay for it, so that's just something that we provide. Oh, and we have a new cardiac team. We just started our cardiac team, sorry. We have a partnership with Christ Hospital as well, a little far from here, but they are using us for their cardiac patients. So we have 2 certified cardiac nurses who go out and see all of our patients that have had a CABG or they are a high risk for going back in the hospital, so that we can give all that education and try to keep you in your home as long as we can. Does anyone have any questions about what we provide?
Who pays for all of that?
Your insurance pays for it.
Okay, through you.
Yes, yes. Typically, you're not even going to get a bill for the home care. Now, if you need wound supplies or you need IVs, then sometimes there is a copay or deductible. But for the actual home care, for the nurse therapist to come, 100% covered.
And then private duty would be out of pocket as well.
Correct.
If you don't meet that skill need.
And then if you need medical equipment, that is covered under your insurance as well. Medicare will cover 80% of it, and most people have a supplementary or secondary insurance which will pick up the other percentage of it. So most of the time it's 100% covered. If not, we let you know ahead of time, let you know what the cost will be, and we do work out payment arrangements if needed.
Do you do blood draws at home
We
Yes.
do.
by appointment?
We actually, so if you have a nurse, if you're on our skilled side to where you have a nurse, then the nurse would draw it, or we also have a joint venture with CompuNet that we can have them come out and do it, but you have to be a patient of Fidelity in order for either one of those to happen.
So for an every 3-month A1C, you don't do it?
We do not.
Okay.
Yeah,
But-
insurance doesn't cover that.
But they can do that at the clinic.
Clinic will do that for you.
You can come up to the clinic for that.
Yes.
If you can get to the clinic.
You got here.
I like her.
Yes.
So in other words, if I have to have a blood draw every 6 months, because I used to call,
Angie?
yes. Does she still do that?
Yes, I think,
So, yeah.
yeah.
So the question was routine blood draws. So everything they're talking about and how it would be covered under your insurance is if you're on like a skilled home health episode or stay. But your routine blood draws through your doctor and that, you can still call Angela. We do have a lab that we contract with for skilled nursing that comes to the campus, and then they do in-home draws.
Okay.
So you can still use that for your routine draws. Or you can just go to the clinic
Yeah.
if you're there Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, wow. Monday, Wednesday, Friday from 9 to 1, they can do them there as well.
Oh, okay, thank you.
Would they do stats?
Stats?
own-
No.
From my own personal experience, I had hip replacement, I rehabbed here and then at home. I want to give you a heads up that as chairman of the board, my job is to do what's best for the residents. I was very pleased with the service I got from Ohio Health. So I just want to give you the heads up. We hope your home staff treats our residents the same as what Ohio Health did. We're very pleased. And we welcome you.
High standards.
We certainly expect our staff to treat everyone the same or better than what you received from our competitor.
We'll
for
let
sure.
you know.
Please let us know.
Ohio Living provides a service where they come into your home and say, help somebody get dressed and get out of bed and get ready for the day.
Yep.
And they also have someone that comes in and cleans for you if you want them. Are you gonna have that?
So we do have private duty services, which is what Derek mentioned, so we can come in and help you with things like that. We do help with baths, we help with dressing, we help with patient care in the home. We will do some light cleaning as well.
Okay.
So we do have that service.
How is that charged?
That is self-pay. Insurance does not cover that,
Yeah, but I mean,
unfortunately.
Do we pay for like 15 minutes, a half an hour, a whole hour?
So generally speaking, and we're still working on this, but generally speaking, our standard is 30-minute minimum and then 15-minute increments after that. We find it's really hard to do anything and do it right in a 15-minute visit. I know some of you are receiving 15-minute visits, so we're going to work on that to make sure we match what Ohio Living was doing.
And I guess I probably should have also said, Ohio Living is still working with us, and I actually reached out to Kaylee this morning, so Kaylee's our executive director. They're working directly with Kaylee to take on the patients that Ohio Living had. So Ohio Living sent us an email, and they basically said there are 3 things going to happen. 1, we're going to stop taking admissions as of 4:30. 2, all private pay people have to be transitioned by 5:30. And 3, all skilled patients have to be transitioned by 6:30. So we're nearing that 5:30 mark. So if you've not been contacted by either Ohio Living or Fidelity as of yet, I know according to Kaylee, everything's going good. And I think, is it Tuesday of next
Tuesday.
week? Tuesday of next week is going to be a big transition day. So I had a lot of residents heard through the grapevine that Ohio Living was shutting down, but were upset that there had been no communication from Ohio Living. That I can't explain whatever they decided to do from a communication standpoint. I know from our standpoint, we wanted to get our ducks in a row before we could communicate. And Fidelity's been great. We've been, working together for probably about 8 days since we made the final decision, and it's moving along very rapidly. We don't have 100% of the answers because there's so many little loopholes and things we got to cinch tight. But the good news is when they tell you Fidelity is one of the is the largest provider in this area, I think it's also important to understand when you see the clinic, do you think of the name Fidelity or do you think of the name Premier Healthcare. So it's
Premier.
marketed as Premier.
Premier.
Fidelity is actually owned by Premier, correct?
Yes.
Yes. Want to make sure I get this correct. So they're actually owned by Premier. So Fidelity Home Health is backed by a very large player in our area, which is why their resources run so deep, which is also why the clinical programs are so in-depth and run so deep. Because if you own a hospital, the worst thing you can have happen is you discharge someone home and they bounce back. So one of the things that the home health company can do is identify those major return to hospital reasons and then devote programs to help keep those patients out of the hospital. And so that benefits us because that's not something Ohio Living was good at doing, honestly, because that wasn't what they did, right? Their job is come in and take care of people, but they're far more clinically focused on the skilled side to help bring those programs and help maintain you at home until you get to the point where you can, be on your own. And I think that's one of the biggest differences that we like is that clinical focus, because so many of our residents, it's one thing sitting in this room, it's another thing when you come back from that hospital and you're down and out and you have those needs, and you go to Dave, and Dave busts his butt trying to make sure we get all the resources in there, but we're limited, where their resources are far more vast. That pulmonary program is huge. Having a respiratory therapist available to come out and, especially with things like COVID and the flu and all those things going around, that's something that no other home health company offers. And we see that as being one of the top 3 reasons why people get re-hospitalized from our campus. It's usually sepsis, anything respiratory, and then anything cardiac. If you want to group them, those are the 3. So out of those, they just told you they do IV infusion, which is one way to combat sepsis or overcome it. The second one is a respiratory program, and then the third one is cardiac. So, they have 3 of the big major medical components that we see as being the largest rehospitalization reasons. So they're very well aligned to help us meet the needs of the residents.
He says it in physical, you take care of the physical. What do you offer as far as mental health is concerned?
So as part of our assessment, we do assess everything, right? So part of that is social determinants of health, which is also part of the mental assessment, mental well-being. If we don't do in-home counseling, but certainly if we feel like there is a need, we have a social worker team that can come out and help get you connected with resources as needed. And social workers for most insurances are free also, just like the RTs, but we feel like it's very important to provide them because there's a big gap at home, and a lot of times you just don't know what resources are available to you. And so we invest in that team to help our patients understand what options you have.
And that would go through your group as well?
That would go through us as well.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
What happens to the Wednesday heart rate, heart pressure,
blood pressure checks?
Yeah, so we don't really have an answer for that as of yet, because right now they haven't, I don't think we're going to have a rep sit down in that office quite yet. If it's on a Wednesday before 1, you can still go to the clinic and they can check it. But Ohio Living's blood pressure check, or it was blood pressure, heart rate, things like that. We don't really have it set up for them to do that, because really they could do that on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays at the clinic. They can check your vitals for you.
Anything else?
What about the private duty part? Can you guys cover that a little bit more? Exactly what you offer as far as private duty?
Yeah, so many of the services you can get under skilled care are offered under private duty if the insurance doesn't cover it. But in addition to that, we do help with bathing, we help with dressing, we help with transferring if needed. We will do some light housekeeping, meal prep, things like that.
Okay.
That can be private duty.
Gotcha. And I thought I heard something from this front row here.
Well, Ohio Health is coming in and making Holly's bed.
Okay, that'll be them.
And they
Be
can,
Fidelity.
they can do
Yes,
that.
so we'll be, our manager over the private duty program is Joni, and hopefully she'll be coming out here Tuesday to meet with everybody.
Joni and I are getting together Tuesday, so
Yeah.
you guys are going to see visits by me and Joni on Tuesday afternoon.
Yeah.
Okay, so
And so what we like to do, instead of just taking a call over the phone and making arrangements, we come out and see your house, we meet you in person, so we can all talk about what exactly is needed, and then we get you enrolled in our program and then start sending somebody out.
Do you take the military TRICARE insurance?
We do.
Yes.
Are you saying that, oh, I get my INRs done weekly, sometimes daily? That's how often I need them. And I get them from Angie, Springfield Regional, they come to me. Now, are you replacing them?
No. The blood draws are going to stay with Springfield Regional. They can do a blood draw if you're on caseload with home health. But if you're not on caseload with home health, the only way they can do blood draws is at the clinic. But if you're getting a daily blood draw, like an INR, that's something you're going to want to continue to use the lab for.
Anything else?
I heard therapy. They're debating about asking.
So what's your question?
Well, we have a particular physical therapist that we all love.
I'll take that one.
Is there-
No, Kurt and Jessica do not work for Fidelity. They actually don't even work for Ohio Living. So no, we are not contracted with Kurt and Jessica.
So we can't ask for them and.
You can ask, but they don't
But
work
we're not
for
gonna
them.
get them. We're not gonna get them.
Yeah, so that, I know that was gonna come up eventually. Kurt and Jessica work for a therapy company that contracted for Ohio Living. I know they've been here for a long time. I know they're really wanting to stay here. At the end of the day, they don't work for anybody I contract with. They didn't contract with us at all. They contracted through Ohio Living. So they're like a fourth-handed cousin coming in the back door to be here. Like, we didn't have anything to do with them. They are not part of the home health agencies that we were looking at. So I know a lot of people, and I know they're going around saying they can stay, they can do this. I don't really know what they can do, because I don't think they can provide services without a home health provider. Because they're not a home health company, they're therapy. So I don't know the ins and outs. Whatever they tell you guys, if they find a way to bill, I guess so be it. I can't change that. But I can tell you that we are not contracted with them at all.
So who are we gonna have?
Fidelity.
We provide that. And you're gonna love our therapists just as much.
Yeah, and Kurt and Jessica are great, and I wish there was a way, but they're not. I mean, they're employees of a company that we don't contract with.
Kurt and Jessica are welcome to apply at
Yes,
Fidelity.
they are welcome.
You're coerced into switching to stay.
Okay, when I was in Berkeley, I had the physical therapist.
Yep.
I assumed they were working with Berkeley, which means they're with you, but you make it sound like.
Well, so I guess we'll outline it all.
Okay.
I do not employ any physical therapists. I do not have any physical therapists on my payroll. The skilled nursing unit, like my skilled nursing center, contracts with Absolute Therapy. So Absolute Therapy is my inpatient rehab provider. So Justin, Patrick, all them, they're here all the time, they're full-time here, but they're actually employees of Absolute Therapy, Absolute Rehab. When you transition to home health, that was through Ohio Living, if it was through Ohio Living, and then Ohio Living, like how I contract with a therapy company, contracted with a therapy company. So when they would have therapy brought in, that was through Therapy Advantage, which is their contracted therapy. So we had no contract with Therapy Advantage whatsoever. And trust me, I think they've done a great job, and I don't have anything against them, but I don't have any contracts with them. They're a service provider that provides services to home health companies. I don't have a home health company, but Absolute is our rehab provider for inpatient. So they do our inpatient and they do our outpatient. So we rely on a home health company for the remainder of the campus.
And we employ ours.
Yes, they do employ their own. All right, any other questions? No? Okay, well, I thank you guys.
Thank you so much, and just don't forget, if you happen to have to go to the hospital, which we hope you don't, please remember to tell them you want Fidelity, okay?
All right.
Thank you.
Well, thank you guys. I know this is a tricky one. I know a lot of people have a, you know, yes, there's some, you know, loyalty is a choice word, but there's a lot of things that we are trying to work through, and I can promise you nobody was more frustrated about this than the campus, you know, management as a whole, because our first and foremost priority is to make sure that everybody who was receiving care didn't have a drop in services. So I mean, the day we found out, we immediately started to work with how do we get it replaced. And my first call was to Ohio Living and said, what do I need to worry about? What am I going to see from a service delivery? We know right away that there were some people already out of the mix. So my concern was how long were they going to be able to continue to provide the services when we already see a depletion of employees at the Ohio Living side. So we worked very quickly to assemble what we were looking for from a partner, what we'd like to see different. I mean, I've never kept it a secret. Ohio Living is where I spent 10 years of my life before I came here. So I love that company. I think they're a fantastic company, and they are a great company. They made a business decision to shut down that office for whatever reason. It's none of my concern, but it did cause me heartburn because I got a 24-hour notice and then a 6-day notice that I could no longer refer. So picking a partner that's going to partner and meet the needs of the campus. Is it going to be identical to what we had for Ohio Living? No. And in a few ways, sure, that might not be great, but in other ways, it's a lot better. One of the things I just want to stress is the level of clinical complexity that they're able to take and achieve is much higher than what we had in the past. So I think the benefits are going to far outweigh any cons that we may find. As far as private duty and times, those are things we're still, you know, kind of working through. Ohio Living just had a much different model because they were modeling it after what they did at their own campuses. They have 13 campuses across the state, so this was a model that made sense to them because we mimic what they already do. So their structure was a little different, and that's very unique because home health companies don't have campuses. Well, Ohio Living is a campus-based company who has home health. And so they had that structure to support their own campuses, and they were able to mimic that at other campuses. So that's why that idea met needs a little differently than what we're going to be able to you know, maybe do with other providers. So just a different structure.
My sister-in-law worked for the CEO of Upper Valley Hospital, and she speaks very highly of you, of the Fidelity.
Good.
So I think this is going to be a really good outcome.
No, I agree.
Yes.
I agree.
Do they have some business cards?
We
Where?
brought some brochures.
All
that
right.
we will-
Yes.
Oh, no, I want a brochure.
Oh.
But Mary has a question.
I was under the understanding that Kurt and Jessica can freelance. They can't freelance and come here.
I don't know. I don't. I don't know how they would. I don't know how that works, but I've heard other people say that they've been told that. I just don't know how that works.
For the right price, Mary, maybe so.
All right. Do we have any more questions about home health? Yes.
You're Miami Valley Hospital.
When I went into the hospital,
We're
yeah,
part of that.
I had at the base sitting here, and then
Yep.
when they sent me home, Ohio got in touch with this. If I had to go into the hospital and some health care, would they automatically come and visit me and tell me what to do?
Yeah, so yes. So basically the process will still be the same. The difference is, so when you go into the hospital, I mean, I'll just be very honest with you. This is how this would work. When one of the IL residents go in the hospital, they don't call Scotty. The hospitals call Heather. Heather's the admissions nurse for skilled nursing. Heather knows if it's an IL resident and they're going to discharge back to IL, when they ask for our preferred home health provider, she'll say Fidelity. You know, she used to say Ohio Living, and 9 out of 10 times we get who? So it'll be a little different. When the hospitals deal with anybody that comes from this campus, they almost 99% of the time call Heather directly. Just simply because that's who she deals with. You know, when they discharge people to rehab, that's who it goes through. And if she's off, it goes directly to me. So that works out pretty well. And if I'm not answering my phone, it goes to Jill. So the three of us pretty much have that down on lock. So anytime you're in the hospital and they reach out, from here on out, instead of saying Ohio Living, our answer will be Fidelity.
So once we get here to Fidelity, they're responsible for coordinating the rehab or the PT?
If it's in your house, yes.
No.
If it's in my campus, no, that's Heather.
That's Heather. Okay.
Yep, so I know you've already talked to
Yeah.
Jill.
Yeah.
So all right, we'll explain this to you. So our skilled nursing admissions team is like a three-legged stool. It's Heather Bowman, myself, and Jill McCullough. So there's three of us because we do three different things. I'm always the final decision maker on, is this gonna cost us too much or is it not gonna cost us too much? Heather looks at all the clinical and Jill does all the insurances. And then when one of us is out, the other two cover. The other part of the reason why there's three people involved is because if the hospital sends a referral, we have to reply rather quickly or you lose the referral. So having three people get all the information allows us to run through it a little quicker, kind of keep everybody accountable, and then we get them through. So when it comes to inpatient rehab here or even AL admissions, it'll go through that team. So if you're in the hospital and they say, you need a respite stay in AL, they call Heather, and like I said, it goes to Heather. If she's not there, then it goes to me or Jill. But that's pretty much, it all funnels back through that admissions team.
And they coordinated here, Heather coordinates.
Yep.
Okay.
So she'll coordinate to get you into the facility, but if they're discharging you home, they'll call us and they'll say, hey, I have this person, they're living your villas, and they're gonna go home, they need some home health, who's your preferred partner? We'll say Fidelity, and then she'll give them the information on who they contact, and then Fidelity takes it from there. Now, when you're in the hospital, we monitor what's going on. So normally before we get that call, we pretty much know. Because we're in there, we look at all of our residents pretty much every day in all the hospital systems that we can and kind of see where they're progressing and see where we need to try to meet their needs. Yep. It's like, sometimes it feels like you're like a teenager and you're stalking people on Facebook. But yeah, we do that.
What's Heather's last name?
Bowman.
Bowman.
Yep.
Thank you.
Faye.
Is there any way that we could have someone for an emergency, like you can't get your medicine or can't get home from the hospital? And if you go on transportation, they wanted $900 and I told them I couldn't pay it. She said, hold on to your bill. She sent me another bill for $220. But
I guess I gotta.
Weekends, you can't get help at all.
Well, no, I don't have drivers on the weekends.
I know that. I said, is there anyone that would be able to do it?
No.
What about?
I don't have drivers on the weekends, so they can't, and security can't leave the campus. So if you're at the hospital, you have to kind of rely on them to set up transportation, or on each other.
They use Superior.
Yeah, the hospital uses Superior Transport to send you home. But no, I don't have anybody that can do like late night discharges or weekends.
What about, your prescription?
Just stay till Monday.
You can't get them, till the weekend, what are you gonna do?
Stay till Monday.
What do you mean? Like you get discharged from the hospital with a new prescription?
No, if you go to the doctor and they call you in a prescription, and they don't get it until Saturday, then how are we gonna get it?
I mean, I don't have transportation on the weekend, so the only thing you come up with is choose a pharmacy that does delivery. I think Madison Avenue, I just don't know if they deliver on
They
Saturdays.
always change that.
What's that?
CVS does that too, delivery.
But Kroger's does not.
No, Kroger's does not.
I've been there for nine years.
Yeah, I have no way of getting you to get your meds on. I mean, you can ask a neighbor, but
You go by your insurance, whatever the insurance says, then that's what you go by.
for what? Where to get it from?
Yeah.
You know, if she just,
Let somebody know.
yeah, let somebody know. I mean, there's a
Yeah.
lot of us out there that drive that if you're in a pinch, I mean, what am I gonna do, say no?
Some people do.
Well, that's a sad
Yeah, I
situation,
would.
isn't it?
But that's a very good point. That's one of the things that we've always talked about is we have to work together and, work as a community. I mean, at the end of the day, remember, what level of care do the majority of you live in? Independent living. That first word is
independently.
What's that?
That doesn't mean we live independently.
No, exactly. You're in independent living, which means you're responsible to take care of your things, but you're right, you don't live independently. You live as a community. You can rely on one another. How'd that song go? You get by with a little help from my friends, right?
Yes.
If we can, we will help.
There we go.
I cannot, but some can.
If a thoracic surgeon states that I need a stent, do I need to call you people and let you know what hospital and what day I'm going in?
It's preferred that you do that. So the question was, if a doctor tells him he needs to have a procedure, should he call us and let us know? You don't have to. There's no law or rule that says you have to. But if you let us know, two things. A, we know not to go running if someone says, hey, I haven't seen him in 2 days, because sometimes that happens. And then secondly, it allows us to just kind of keep the communication open. That way, if there's any needs or anything like that, we can help try to get them met.
Well, a moment ago, you mentioned that you monitor people that are in the hospital.
Yeah, if we know. So like if 911 is called on this campus, I know every 911 call that happens. But sometimes people go to the hospital from a doctor's appointment, then I don't know. Or a family member takes them without calling 911 and we don't know. But communicating to Dave or PBX that happened or security, that helps us, just kind of know where people are at. Because there have been times where people have been off campus and someone says, I haven't seen Sally in 3 days, and then we try to track them down. Then we find out, oh my, she's been in the hospital, and she was at a doctor's appointment and they sent her and they didn't communicate, things like that. So you don't have to, but it is always better to communicate that. Just like even if it's nothing to do with a clinical thing and you're going on vacation, it's always good to even communicate that just so we know.
Yeah, please, if you're going to be off campus for more than 1-2 days, give me a call. I'll let security and maintenance know. So they got a heads up.
All right. Anything else?
Yeah, my name is Dick Snow. I haven't formally met you. However, I noticed that there is a bench on the southeast corner of the castle. There's none on the northeast corner. Would it be prudent enough for you to have somebody put a bench there between those two large trees? Not between the large tree and the small one, because when you put a bench there, you're looking at a trash collection. But between the two large trees on the northeast corner.
You mean right on the bend out here?
What's that?
The one on the bend?
Yeah. Because that way you could look out over the landscape and it'd be kind of a therapy for a person resting or whatever. But I come around that way a lot when the weather is nice, and I get pretty tired by the time I get around that bend. And so I need to so I stress myself to go find a bench.
We could probably put a bench over there, because we usually have one that sits on the pad right outside the entrance to Bancroft, and that one goes very widely unused. So we could probably move it up there.
Yeah, but I'm pretty damn tired by the time I get around.
I can imagine. All right, Dave, what do you got to cover today?
He ran out.
He ran away.
Okay, I got quite a bit to cover, actually. I know, you guys, boy, it's been 40 minutes already. So I'll go really quick. Coming up next Wednesday, we have the Cincinnati Reds Hall of Fame Museum. They're going to be here. They're bringing Todd Benziger. Todd Benziger was played for the Reds back in 1990 when they won the World Series. So Todd will be here. The events committee will be serving hot dogs, I believe. You know, a little bit of stuff like that. So it's no big deal. But come out and meet Todd. I'm sure he's got a lot of stories to talk about with some of the other players that he got to play with on that championship team. So that's next Wednesday, the 22nd at 11 o'clock in the clubhouse. It's on the calendar, so just check your calendars. Now, some things that are coming up in June. June's going to be a busy month. Wednesday, June 5th, we have the Alzheimer's pancake breakfast. It'll be prepared and served by the events committee. It is a $5 at the door. There's no tickets being sold to this. All proceeds will go to the Alzheimer's Association. So that is next Wednesday, June 5th. Pancake breakfast. Please come out and support this. Then Friday the 14th is our Father's Day cookout. Events committee is also putting that on. That begins at 11 a.m. I believe we have Coffee Connection that day too, so we're not canceling Coffee Connection or happy hour just because of the Father's Day cookout. It's not going to happen. Okay, we did have for the Mother's Day tea just because it was in this building. So don't ask. Nothing's being canceled. Okay. So that's Friday, June 14th, Father's Day cookout. Then Tuesday, June 18th, we have the Clark County Combined Health District coming out to do a diabetes screening, and that'll be on Tuesday, June 18th. Looks like they're going to break it up. They're going to be out there from 9 to 12 and 1 to 4. I think I have a sign-up sheet out there. Okay, there's going to be a sign-up sheet out there. Did anybody get a flyer? We did put. Okay, the flyers are coming out too. Terry's got my flyers. Okay, so the flyers are coming out too. I believe there is a number to call and sign up, but I'm also going to put a sign-up sheet out as well. Okay, so moving on. Friday, June 28th, that's Margaritaville. So we're going to have our Margaritaville party. That's from 5 to 8 in the clubhouse. Tickets will be on sale for that come Monday. You can get them from myself or Terry, $5. We're going to have cheeseburgers and all the works that go on the cheeseburgers, other stuff to go with it. I can't remember everything. And margaritas. Bring your own tequila. We'll have the margarita mix. Bring your own tequilas. We'll mix it up. That's from 5 to 8 on that Friday. I've got a guy named Jim Merrick. He'll be singing Jimmy Buffett music. We're going to try and have him outside this year, so we can all, hopefully the weather's permitting, it'll be a nice day, and we can all sit outside and enjoy his music. So that's coming up on Friday, June 28th. Now in July, I do have the garage sale coming up. We're going to have the campus-wide July 12th and 13th. It's a Friday and Saturday from 9 to 3. It's mostly for Masonic Square residents. If you're interested in participating, if you haven't told me yet, let me know, because I got a lot of planning to do for that yet. Okay, as far as mapping it out and getting it advertised out in the newspaper. For you Scottish Rite people, if you want to put something in a garage sale, if the bus garage is still standing by July 12th, that's where we're going to set up camp. Okay, so get with me if you're interested in putting stuff out.
There's little extra parking spots in each of the cul-de-sacs. Maybe they could set up there.
It would take a lot to get it that far. So
Oh.
it's a lot closer to Scottish Rite to go to that bus thing. If that's not available, we're probably going to end up in the house or somewhere like that. So we'll make something happen. Last thing, I got the planners in the square, $25 gift cards. I've got about half of them spoken for, so if anybody's still interested in doing the planner out in front of your residence, please contact me. Or if you want to do a few on your own, please contact me. I'm looking at one person right now. Okay, Dave? So, but come see me, and I still have the gift cards. Other than that, I think that's all I have.
Okay.
I don't see CJ and Hans. They're the other ones. So I got one.
All right, so we do have one pineapple recipient, this coffee connection, and Dave does have a pineapple in his box. So Miss Kay Kopp, this month's recipient of the pineapple.
She was nominated by a resident.
Oh, nominated by another resident.
Yeah.
So thank you, Kay. So we'll explain the pineapple works. I know some new people in here and in Fidelity may be interested in this. So again, just like we just talked a little bit ago about being a community, right? A few years ago, we were becoming more and more aware of how hard new residents coming to the campus were finding it to find their way or fit in or kind of integrate to the campus. So the Pineapple Award is to recognize people who help new residents understand what it's like to be a campus resident, find their way around, and just kind of integrate into the campus. So they're nominated either by a staff member or other residents. So it's very prestigious, right, Dave?
Right.
That's right.
Well, we had a couple other, but they're not here, so I can't get into them.
Yes, because the pineapple is the international symbol of hospitality, so that's why we chose the pineapple.
I forgot one thing. I didn't write it on here. There's one thing I forgot. In June 4th and 18th, those are Tuesdays, we are taking a bus to the Champion City Kings baseball. We do that just about every year, and our choir, right, Sandy, they're gonna sing the national anthem on the 18th.
Oh.
Okay, but we'll have a sign-up sheet out there. If I need to take 2 buses, I'll take 2 buses. But right now, that'll be the 18th of June.
No, we got pool that night. She can't do it.
Well, she's got to come sing. Okay, so that's going to be June 4th and 18th, and the choir is going to sing the 18th on the national anthem. I think the bus will be picking up at 5:30. Sign-up sheet's already out there for the 4th.
All right. Oh, Danita.
Yeah, I have a couple things. Whatever happened to the book and magazine rack that used to be in the pool room? I miss people putting their used magazines up there.
I don't have an answer, but we can find out. I don't know where it went.
Okay. All right, and second of all, okay, this has been brought up several times. Why can't we get some lighting between the maintenance building and the first road to go down into the condos? We're using hospice now, and I had the driver kept going back and forth trying to find our house, and that was because she couldn't see the number on our condo at night. So what can we do about those 2 things?
Well,
It's so dark between maintenance and that first road. I feel that it's a safety issue.
but your condo's down deeper in.
Yeah, but then she got down on Valley Street and she couldn't find our condo because she couldn't see the house numbers.
The map is also hidden by a bush as you turn the corner.
Well, the map we can cut the bush around. So that we don't own the street lights. Those are actually owned by. That's why we don't replace them.
On the house to shine a light on. I mean, I put my front porch light on, but a lot of people leave their front porch lights on. I don't know if they're afraid of the boogeyman or what, but
I don't know, because I can tell you people can't be too scared, because I was here one night at 3 a.m. and it was amazing how many people didn't lock their doors on the campus.
yeah, but
It was
when
crazy.
you're calling hospice, it's usually either that or 911. You want them to know where they're supposed to be coming. I mean, security might bring the ambulance, but they're not going to bring hospice.
Yeah, they wouldn't know that hospice was coming, though.
Yeah.
Honestly, Danita, I don't have a great
Can
answer
we
for
get
that.
some paint or something that reflects?
Numbers and things like that I can work on. Street lights, that's a bigger project than I can tackle in a simple answer.
Reflectors maybe for that area between maintenance and that first street.
Now, when you're talking about maintenance in the first street, are you talking about once you turn down the street across from Scottish Rite, or are you talking about this garage?
This garage.
Okay, so this
garage right out.
the transportation garage
Transportation.
around the back of Scottish Rite.
Yeah, to go down to the first street. Some reflectors, some fencing, or, you know, something that, or some white lines on the blacktop, something that people can see that there's the road there.
We could, I can promise you I could probably do something, one of those last ones, more than I can get a street light put up. So we'll take a look and see what we can do. Because the street lights are gonna be, that's a difficult one to accomplish. Like I said, we don't actually even own those. Those are owned by Ohio Edison. That's why it's so hard to get the light bulbs replaced.
Yeah. And the other thing is, when you make the one call, why do we not get a phone call to let us know that maybe the dining room got closed because they don't have staff?
When did that happen?
Not too long ago. We had people coming over, and we didn't know that they were closed.
There would have been a one call sent had I known.
We closed, what, the Mother's Day morning or something?
Yeah, the only time I'm aware that we closed the dining room was when we did Mother's Day tea.
No, before that, it was before that. We had numerous people coming in saying, well, I didn't get a call. Did you get a call? Nobody got a call.
No, you didn't, because we didn't make one.
Yeah. And I asked Tasha about it, and she said she talked to you.
Where anytime we shut down that dining room.
Tasha about that, but I want to know why we don't get one calls for meetings, something like the dining room, concerts. I mean, we got a concert called the other night. The concert had
It already started. You got the call. You got a call at 7:06. Concert started at 7.
Was it on your calendar?
Gotta look at the
Mine was,
calendar.
but the call came. Point is, the call was
I
after.
mean, you call us because Fat Patty's is here?
Well, that's important. And they canceled, by the way, if you didn't get a chance.
Aw,
But-
yeah, because that was on a
Did you put a one
K4.
call for that?
Canceled?
I had no idea.
No, I never knew it was
Just
canceled.
assumed with all the.
Well, they just canceled because in the call yesterday it said weather permitting. Well, it did not. It did not permit because it was raining, so they didn't come. We will work on the one calls. We'll work on the one calls. Sometimes we get complaints that we call too much. People only want called with what's like important or urgent. We've also expanded who can make the one calls, because it used to just be Dave and I, and now security can make them, right, Brian? You guys can make them, PBX.
Okay, when the dining room got closed, I said, why can't you call? I said, who puts that out? Well,
Security can now.
They weren't sure. Okay, so you just made that?
No, well, no, that's just now. It's been a while, but yeah.
We've made a few.
Because like Scotty puts out a lot of them for PBX. He does a lot of them for us. All right, well, we can work on that.
I'd like to say something. I want to say how nice the Mother's Day luncheon was.
Oh, good. They did. I thought they were both great at it, so I'm happy about
And I got
that.
something else.
Oh,
I'm not done. If you haven't been to the boutique yet, you must go. It is like going to a department store. It is fabulous. I told them I was going to say something.
that's a plug for the boutique. Go to the boutique.
If you haven't seen it, you're missing it. You got to go.
I have to ask this, and I have asked several people, Dave included,
Go ahead.
Oh, here we go.
at all. I work at the ice cream shop, my husband and I do on Mondays. Okay, if we can't come in, who do we call?
Oh, for the ice cream shop?
Yeah, I mean, everybody's, gee, Dave, he's pointing to you, and you said you had nothing to do with it.
I
So
don't take care of those volunteers.
See, I I mean, we've
What,
asked
the way
John
I
to
do it, the way I do it with the gift shop, ask one of the other gift shop workers if they can cover for you.
Yes, I know that, but I hate to do that because it kind of puts them on the spot.
Well, that's how it works. Because we don't have that many volunteers to do the ice cream unless you got a backup person.
I know, so, but it's just kind of, you know, you'd like to have a go-to person instead of just making your calls to everybody to see who can work.
I thought it was John, but then I heard John's not doing
No, we
everything anymore.
asked
It's
John, and
Nathan now.
Jonathan threw up his hands and says, no, it's not me. Everybody we ask, it's not them.
Well, we took the
So I guess
ordering,
we
we took
run
the
it.
ordering off of John and put the ordering on
Nate, right?
Nate.
Oh, dear.
Well, it makes sense, right? Why wouldn't you have the guy who orders the food order the ice cream?
Exactly.
That makes more sense.
I still think it should be
Talk
John.
about the chairs.
Yeah, that's next.
Okay.
Oh, we're running out of time.
No, are we close?
I tell you what, you can call me. You can call me and give me advice on who I can call and ask. I don't mind asking.
Yes.
You could call PBX and tell PBX too. I mean,
Right.
PBX will then tell me and Dave.
Take it.
What's that?
Bless her little heart. It was Terry. Terry says, if nobody wants you, I'll take it.
Well, Terry. At the end of the day, if we don't have a volunteer for the ice cream shop, it's just not going to be open.
It's not going to open.
Yeah, so we just put up the sign. Now the sandwich shop will stay open so people will look at the ice cream.
Now, are we closed on Memorial Day?
No, but no, you're never closed on anything.
The gift shop will be closed.
Gift shop's
Memorial Day.
closed. I think the sandwich shop will be open, I think.
They'll be open. So that's up to the volunteer who works that Monday.
You're open,
It's
Pat.
up to you.
Closed. Ice cream parlor closed on Memorial Day. Here we go.
Put up a sign.
Have a nice trip.
All right, as if we hadn't had enough controversy today.
Well,
So, the new tables and chairs. All right, I've gotten a lot of feedback, a lot of positive feedback, a lot of negative feedback. So we're just going to sum it up. We're buying new tables and chairs.
Okay.
I know a lot of people are like, we don't need them. We need them. We need them for a lot of reasons. One of the biggest reasons is those wood chairs, the lacquer has completely worn off of them, and it's an infection kind of control issue. And for those of you who told me the new chairs are too hard, what you don't know is that's exactly how those ones started out. We've just worn them in over the last 10 years.
well,
They were hot.
They're just comfy now. But that's actually how they all kind of started out. You know, you start off hard, and then after enough butts push pressure on them, they soften up. So some of us soften them more than others. But all the chairs start off hard when we buy them, and then they soften after use. So that's the first thing. So we did put up 3 color patterns, and we actually had a tie, believe it or not. Pattern 1 and pattern 3 both had 30 votes. So we had a total of 30 plus 19, so 79 votes for actual choices and 12 votes that basically just told me not to do a thing. So 30 and 30 for pattern 1 and pattern 3. So now we have to figure out a tiebreaker. So we came up with 2 options. Option 1, our board chair is here. We could use him as an unbiased, impartial decision maker. Or number 2, we do the yay nay vote on who's here now to do the winner. So what do you guys think? Well,
Stan.
Stan? We trust Stan? The chairs are right there.
Who is it?
Does it have scrollers on them?
What's that? Yeah. So the sample. Okay. So that's something that no matter how many times I told people what to explain, I don't think it was a crossbreak. The chairs we buy will have wheels. They just don't send you a sample with wheels. The samples we had aren't even representative of colors or anything. They're literally chairs they have in a factory that they send over that you can sit on, whether we like the weight, the size. Because like that first one we had right away, people were like, if you've got a bigger bottom side, it doesn't fit on that skinny chair. right? That was the feedback. So right away, and actually, we had that feedback from a staff member before it ever landed over here. The staff member was like, I put my butt on that thing. It's not wide in the back. So we knew that one was not a winner. So the sample chairs were literally just for structure, is what we'll say. We basically had two to choose from, and believe it or not, they're actually the same exact chair. The biggest difference was, did the pad go all the way to the top? Or if you look at the one we chose, it has the gap up here. And we chose that because the gap is better for staff members who are cleaning tables and chairs, and they grab your chair, they're not putting maybe their fingers on the pad. And if they have, like, you know, ketchup or something on them, or in my house it's always mustard, they don't get it on the pad. So the material selections are uniform in the material type. The bases of the chairs are all vinyl, right? That's the most durable of the fabrics. It's also the most cleanable. But these fabrics here, the pattern fabrics, are what's called krypton. So not only is it the planet that Superman came from, but it's also an extremely strong, durable, water and fluid resistant material. So we use that a lot for materials that are going into nursing homes and assisted livings because they're made to withstand everything from red colored dyes to, you know, urine, different things. It's a very, very cleanable and
managing.
Yeah, it's clean. It's clean. So those are the fabric styles. So what we've come up with is pattern 1 and pattern 3.
Why don't you make the major decision here, the executive decision, and say, this is what we're going to have?
Yeah, that's the way it's going.
Because then you'll all get mad at me. I'd rather it be Stan.
Yeah, we're going to let you make
All right, Stan, of your choices, what do you think from those color patterns?
Well, number one, how much do I get paid?
Just like my ice cream shop workers, it's a volunteer position.
Well, I picked pattern number 1 based on, I think it'll have the longest wear and durability appearance than the other two. And obviously,
I paid him.
the
Hush up.
consideration cost is an important factor. But I like the pattern of 1, and I think it'll wear the longest and the best.
All right, so pattern 1. So Stan, if I do the math, you just made 40% of the people happy.
I'm an insurance, so I don't make anybody happy.
I'm not going to lie, I'm kind of jealous. That's better than my odds. I don't get 40% usually. So, all right, so now we'll be moving forward with that. The lady just called me today because I told her to have a decision by Wednesday, but we moved Coffee Connection. So we're gonna meet next week. Just an update on the tables and chairs. Unfortunately, it does not look like I'm going to be able to get farmhouse tables. And so did the dining crew, really thought the farmhouse tables were going to be a good addition and kind of make things a lot better in the dining room. The problem is I can't get the farmhouse tables in the same finish as the other tables, and I can't even get it. It's close enough to look like a mistake. Does that make sense? It's close, but it's going to look like it was wrong, and so I'd rather not do that. So we're probably not going to end up with the farmhouse tables. They're trying to come up with maybe a different vendor, but at this point, I can't get the two style of tables to match, and that's probably not going to fly.
Explain what a farm table is.
So the farmhouse table, so right now, like table 1, everyone knows table 1, right? The one right by the salad bar. But how many tables make up table 1?
3.
3.
That's Neil's table.
So a farmhouse table is just one big table, and it makes it a lot easier. Not that pulling tables together is a problem, but if you sit at those tables, they don't always line up, right? If you're sitting somewhat, in the middle of one, you're on a seam, and that doesn't work out real great. And also, if you push on the table or something, one table may give more than the others. So the farmhouse table would just be a lot easier to move things around. It allows a little better seating options, and B, it looks a little better because it's one big table. So I really, really thought the farmhouse tables were a great idea. I was actually really happy about that. She made it seem like it wasn't going to be that much of a problem. And then once we started getting into the details, it really came down to a supplier issue. Because the tables that I want in the dining room, I want for a very specific reason. I'm not putting any more wood-lined tables in there because the wood wears, and then just like you're seeing in there, it gets nicked by the chairs, it gets nicked by walkers and everything, and then they just don't look good. They're not holding up. So we're going to go with a fully encased table. So that is important for longevity. So we're trying to keep that concept in mind, because I can get it in the same, it basically looks just like the table we have, but the center's different. And that, I don't want that again. Because as we clean those, the varnish wears off, then you get the raw wood, and that's just an infection control issue. So.
Did Stan decide on the black top?
The tops actually were already chosen. We didn't vote on the color of the frames of the chairs or the tabletops, because when you look in there, there's one thing that really sticks out, and I can't change it, and that's the salad bar and the host station. So because that's such an anchor point, and it's not anything that we're going to be replacing, we were trying to pick things that played off of that color palette. So unlike when you're buying residential furniture, the furniture that's made for this type of space is kind of limited on the colors. There's a lot of light colors or painted colors, whites, grays, blues, different things like that. But to find something in wood tones gets very limited. So we chose the darker color palette so it plays off of the anchor that you have in that room of the salad bar and the hostess station. And then the chairs will be your color palette from there that kind of pulls in the walls and the drapes and whatnot. All right, Mr. Snow.
When you talked about the long table, are there going to be any small tables for 4 people, or are they all going to be long?
So we're actually, I know we covered this before, but it's been a long time. We're going to go with larger tables. So right now what we have are 36 by 36. And at minimum I'm going to go 40 by 40, but I'm really pushing for 48 by 48. And the reason is because if you're in a scooter or a wheelchair or anything like that, if you pull up to the table right now, you can't reach the table because you're getting blocked. The tables they're just small. So we're going to go with a larger format table to start. With that, we just got to place them around to make sure what we're going to see from that geometry. But yes, there will be smaller tables. I'm not sure if we'll do 2 tops. That's something that is still up in the air, whether or not we'll do 2 tops or not. But do you guys have an opinion about the 2 tops? Do we need 2 tops?
If it's going to make a longer table, that's what we're using now. 2 larger and then 2 tops.
That part I get, but we use the 2 tops as fillers, right?
Right.
I mean, they don't get used a whole lot. I mean, I'll sit in one sometimes when I need to just sit down and eat and plow through, but do we need?
Against the windows.
But do they get utilized a lot?
Yeah, I see.
Because staff's kind of hit or miss on that.
I see it.
So, all right, well then we'll still do 2 toppers.
The young dating couples, they use them.
The young dating couples?
And there's a lot of those around.
I don't disagree with you. All right, Stan? Oh, Steve.
Question, are you going to keep the carpeting, or are you going to have...
Yeah, the carpeting's staying. The carpeting's, well, it's not too terribly old. Maybe 6 years old.
When you changed it the last time, you did the carpeting and the paint.
Yeah, so we're not changing the carpeting and the paint as of yet. Right now it's tables and chairs. We've talked about potentially repainting the walls. The carpeting is a very, very large investment, and I don't know if you were around when we put this carpet in. This isn't even the carpet we started with, remember? Yeah, we changed it, what, like probably a year and a half in? We changed it over because that stuff wasn't lasting. So, okay, Mr. Stan, you want to send us on our way?
rise and join me in a moment of prayer? Dear Lord, we thank you again for the many blessings that you've given. And we thank you for the direction and the help that you give to the staff and being with the residents when they're needed. I would ask you today to be close with me, since I was the breaking vote on an issue and could use your help. We also, again, thank you for watching and over our first responders and military. And again, we thank you and ask for your continued direction for the staff and administration, and lead us in the way you want us to be. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. All right. Thank you, everybody.